All right, joining us on the dais now is Indiana head coach Mike Woodson. Coach, congratulations on your win yesterday. Welcome to Portland. And if you want to make an opening statement, go ahead, and then we will open it up to the media.
Well, it's good to be back here in Portland. We had a long trip last night, but we made it here safely, and I got to get our players programmed ready to play a good, well-coached team in St. Mary's and their ball club.
Hey, Coach. Charlie Clifford, Wish TV out of Indy. How do great teams handle fatigue? I don't know if it's a complicated question or not, but what's your answer on that one?
Well, all I can do is relate to the NBA when we made the championship run in Detroit. It's a grind, man, and I've always said only the strong will survive. And that Detroit team, man, we were so battle-tested throughout the playoffs that they just refused to be tired, and because they was chasing that title. And I think the teams, when you look at all the good teams in March Madness, everybody wants to win a title. So really, there's no room to be tired. I mean, yeah, we had a long flight. I get it. It took us a while to get here, but we got here safely, and this is what we signed up for. Hey, we're here to try to win a game, to see if we can advance. I don't want to go home, and I hope these guys feel the same way.
Jim Coyle, Indiana Sports Beat. Mike, Trace talked about this is one game and you just have to focus to get past the fatigue. But is there anything that you're going to do to, knowing ahead of time how tired these guys might be, to change whether it's minutes doled out, rotations, things like that?
Well, I mean, I'll take as the game goes on, I mean, I coach pretty much by feel. We only had 3 guys that played over 30 minutes last night. So a lot of guys should be fresh and eager and ready to play. It's kind of how I look at it. But I would gauge it as we go along and see how guys are playing on the floor. And if they're not giving me anything, then I got to go elsewhere to try to find it.
Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated Indiana. Mike, I know during the Big Ten tournament, Trace had talked a little bit about how breaking out of that slump that he had sort of been in for about a month or so was important to him. He's obviously been playing at a very high level here in his last week or so. What's been the specifics to the difference in his game this last week compared to that month of February where he struggled?
I don't know. I mean, I just think that he's starting to find them. He was starting to find himself again, and it doesn't hurt that he has a coach that's kind of screaming and in his ear a lot too. I mean, trying to push him in the right direction. I thought the halftime of the Michigan game it could have gone totally bad for me and the team. But as coaches, we always look to find ways to get players to step up and play. And I challenged him, and like I said, he could have gone the other way, but he didn't. He responded. And his play from that half time on has been tremendous, man. I mean, he's playing at such a high level, which is kind of nice to see, and we're all, as a team, are benefiting from
it. Coach Mike Pegram from Peaks.com. On Monday before Wyoming, you mentioned, nobody talks about the fact that you guys played a lot of games without Rob Finney and Trey Galloway. What did you mean by that, and what kind of things do they bring to kind of complete you as a team there?
Well, they bring some seniorship. I mean, Rob has been around a long time. Gallo's still young. I get that. But when we put this roster together to start the season, those 2 guys were a big piece of the puzzle. And when you lose them, Rob being 15 games, I said 14 the other day, and Galloway 15 and Rob 10, that's a big piece of the puzzle when you're talking about some of the games that we've lost, down the stretch of games, maybe they could have been the difference maker. I don't know. I'm just reaching, but they are a big part of what we do, and we rely on those guys to help us win games.
Woody. George Montgomery, Fox Sports National Radio. you've been away from the college game for almost 40 years and stepping in as the head coach. You've talked about this a little bit before. You're kind of feeling your way. How much advice are you getting from your assistants, and how much advice are you just going on your own cognizance?
Well, I've always, when you put a staff together, you got to work hand in hand. That's, I think, important when you're talking about trying to build a team and getting players to play at a high level. But when I coach, I always have coached on feel, based on what I see on both ends of the floor. And yeah, I get advice from all over the place when you got coaches around you. But at the end of the day, coaching, you got to make decisions very quickly. And I've always felt good about the decisions I make. They might not always be the right decisions, but that's just a part of coaching. But I've always said, George, coaching is coaching. I don't care what level it is. If you can get your team to buy into what you do on both ends of the floor, then you've done your job. It's when they don't buy in and they go the other way is when you struggle. And this team has really allowed me to coach them along with my staff.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, CNHI. Coach, a lot of analysts around the country, college basketball analysts, have described St. Mary's as being kind of a rugged team. I'm just curious about what you've seen on film and some of the challenges that they're going to present on Thursday for you guys.
Every team is rugged at this stage of the year. I just came through a grueling Big Ten season, man, and that was just brutal. The way, they let you play and get after one another. And I've watched St. Mary's. They're a hell of a team. They're well coached. Randy's been a part of this program for a long, long time, and he's seen a lot of players come and go. And they've had some good teams here. And, this year, hell, they won 25 games. So you got to give them a lot of credit because they've had a hell of a season. And so, we got our hands filled. We got to come and commit for 40 minutes on both ends of the floor and see what happens.
Yeah, Coach, Steve Kroner from the San Francisco Chronicle. I'm sure obviously those of us on the West Coast know how good St. Mary's has been for the past 15 or so years. Do your fans and do your players realize how good St. Mary's has been for the past 15 years or so?
Well, I think they have. And I don't let our players get too high or too low. At the end of the day, you got to respect whoever you play. And that's professionalism. That's a part of sports. So I don't think our guys are taking them lightly. Their record indicates they have had a hell of a year. And they're in the tournament just like we are. So, both teams want to advance. That's kind of how I look at it. Something's got to give. So only time will tell once the game gets started and finished.
Mike, Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated Indiana. I remember in our college days, we came to Portland once for a college tournament. And but I was curious if you had any good NBA memories as either a player or a coach here for anything that might have happened here in Portland.
Well, I came here and when I was in college and playing the Far West Classic, and we got beat by Magic and that great team that went on to win the national title that year in the championship game. And then all my days of playing and coaching in the NBA are coming to Portland. I like Portland. It's a hell of a city. So it's good to be back. But it'd be even better if we can come out of here with a win. That's kind of how I look at it.
We're going to take a couple questions from the Zoom room. Dustin DePirick, go ahead.
Yeah, Dustin DePirick, Bloomington Herald-Times. Mike, obviously Parker and Miller have kind of struggled shooting the ball lately, but you've obviously stuck with them, giving them a bunch of minutes. What do you like about what you're getting from them outside of shooting and scoring?
They're seniors. They've been around. I respect that. That's why I start them and I play them. And they haven't shot the ball extremely well here of late, but I'm going to keep riding them until they do. And guys that are coming in off the bench are going to have to fill in around them and do their part as well, like Geronimo did last night, which was kind of nice to see.
All right, back to the Zoom room. Tyler Tachman, go ahead.
Tyler Tachman with Inside the Hall. Coach, you had talked about a couple of days ago that you want to create great men in the program because that's what Bob Knight did for you. Thinking back on that, is there like any memories or moments that were kind of transformative experiences for you that helped shape you, something that Bob Knight taught you?
I think my biggest moment was my senior year when everybody thought it was over when I had the back surgery. And Knight just stuck with me and hung in there with me, man. That was a tough time for me. You know, you play all your college career never being hurt, and then you get to your senior year and something that drastic happens to the point where doctors are telling you you'll never play. He hung in there and was patient until I was able, and you know, he put all the good medical people around me, the physician that I had do the surgery, all the people who helped me get back, Doc Councilman and people like that who helped me get back on my feet. He hung in there with me, and then he never forgot about me when I came back. Shit, he played me 40 minutes a game, and that was kind of nice, you know, in terms of helping me get back on my feet and helping that team win the Big Ten title that year. So I have him to thank for that as well.
Coach Jeff Rabjohns, Pigs.com. Obviously, Parker Stewart, Miller Kopp, Race Thompson, they all struggled at the same time the other night, combined for only 8 points. Was there anything in particular that you saw and said, hey, this is, when you go back and watch film, this is why they struggled? Or what happened with those three guys on Tuesday?
Hey, again, if you go back and look at the game, even X, you know, X missed three, 4 layups. Race missed some layups. And I just think, you know, first time in the tournament, man, I'm not using that as an excuse. None of these guys have been in the tournament play. And I think they were a little edgy, you know, last night in terms of how we started the game. Neither team can make shots. I mean, I looked at the scoreboard at 3-4 minute mark, and it was 19-17. It was a really low scoring game. So I felt good because our defense was pretty good. And I figured that whoever found some offense first had a shot in winning the game, and I thought we found it before they did.
Mike, Charlie Clifford again, Channel 8 Indy. You get through today, how do you address tomorrow? Do you make any alterations to a normal game day schedule considering the weird arrival?
No, I mean, I got them here. We slept in a little bit. Coaches, we didn't really sleep. We started prepping, getting ready for these guys to get out of the bed and come down and eat a little bit, and then we walked through some things, and we're going to go back and walk through some things. We watched film, and then tomorrow morning we'll get up and do our normal routine and get ready to play.
Mike Pegram from Peaks.com. St. Mary's is like 9th in the country in defensive efficiency. What about the makeup of that team allows them to be really good at that part of the game?
Well, again, I mean, they have a senior team that's been together a while, well-coached team. Their system is in place. And that puts them in a good position on both ends of the floor, I think. But we've been pretty good defensively as well all year. Had our ups and downs offensively. So we're going to have to rely on our defense to put us in a good position offensively to win this game.
We're going to take our last question from the Zoom room. Tyler, go ahead.
Coach, are there any favorite memories you have from late night road trips in the NBA? And was there anything, someone you would call or foods you would have that would get you through those?
I didn't hear that very well.
Can you repeat that? Can we get a little bit more audio, please, for the Zoom? Tyler, go ahead and repeat your question.
Yeah, Coach. Do you have any favorite memories from from road trips, late night road trips in the NBA, and what are some things that maybe help you get through that, whether it be someone you talk to or snacks you had or anything like that?
Well, like I told the guys, we can never complain. They can anyway, and I know I won't about travel, because in the NBA back in the old days, man, it might have been the worst travel in the world. I mean, there were red eyes that we'd had to catch the next game the next day, and we're sleeping in chairs in the airport, trying to get where we got to go. But that's what we signed up for as an NBA player, and it was a part of it. So they got it pretty damn good right now, I think.
All right, that's all the time we have. Coach Woodson, thank you very much.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck tomorrow.